It was the middle of the afternoon. I was working Fish and Game. I happened to spot it, and it was already pretty much to the north of me. I thought it was a meteor, but it didn't look quite right. Meteors usually put off mist coming off the backs.
Right.
This was definitely a smoke trail. Well, there was so much flame, it was just totally engulfed. It was rounded on the front, couldn't really see a shape under it, and it was already heading across the top part of the lake. I kept glancing at it, and it was moving at a pretty good clip, a little faster than I'm used to seeing the planes go over, when it looked like it was coming low. So I decided I'm just gonna come on out this way and see.
Without thinking, Carolyn took off in pursuit of the fireball UFO.
The last clamps I got of it was back that way. I saw it disappear behind the mountains up here, and I'm like, gee, I wonder. So I went on up there.
As Carolyn rounded the bend, she suddenly found herself staring down the barrel of a gun.
Go ahead.
And there's a couple military jeeps and 4 or 5 armed guys standing there. And I'm like, where do they come from? Because they weren't there 20 minutes ago.
Well, what's your location?
And I'm like, wow. And they just glared at me. And the only thing I could figure is they were following it. Whatever it was, they knew about it, and they were trying to follow it.
How did that make you feel?
Pretty freaked out. To this day, I have no idea what that was.
I discovered a photo which an amateur photographer took named Dory Vigil. Dory was taking pictures of a flat-top mountain named the Archuleta Mesa.
And I want to know if the photo might have anything to do with these reports of a base.
Hey, Dory.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, Ben, nice to meet you.
Dory, a longtime Dulce resident, grew up hearing all sorts of whispers about Archuleta Mesa. But in 2015, all those rumors would become shockingly real.
So, what were you doing that day?
Late one afternoon, Dory was helping a friend trim trees. On his way home, he pulled over to take some photos.
That day, I was over here on top of this other hill. I had a brand new camera. So I was trying to take pictures. I took a picture at the football field. I took a picture at the church. All of a sudden, oh, there it was. This little black thing in the sky.
So do you happen to have that photo with you?
Yeah,
I can see, okay, there's that little dip.
that's
I can see now, so with this perspective though, that actually looks pretty close to you.
Dory wasn't the only one who saw the strange flying object that evening. Other witnesses recalled an even stranger detail.
There's other people around town that says they seen the same UFO coming from the mesa.
From the Archuleta Mesa.
There is about maybe 5 accounts saying that it opened up.
Opened up?
And the light came out or whatever or something, and then they said there's stuff that went in and went out, and then it closed up and everything.
Could the rumors be true? Could the Archuleta Mesa be hiding one of the underground bases allegedly built under Native American reservations?
I've been researching rumors of a jointly operated human and alien underground base in Dulce, New Mexico. It's a facility where allegedly our government allows aliens to experiment on humans in return for their advanced technology. There have been reports of egg-shaped UFOs flying in and out of the mountain, and I've spoken to one witness who says she was nearly abducted. Historically, have there been any other sightings in that area?
The big one would be the Socorro case. It involved a traffic cop who saw a strange object and watched it blast off into the sky. So we have a couple tapes here. The first one is an interview with the traffic cop, Lonnie Zamora, the man who saw the UFO.
Let's have a listen to it.
I was chasing a reckless driver going up South Park Street. Up to the time I came to this little road, I heard this big roar blast. We got a a dynamite check to the west there. I thought maybe it blowed up. So I started up there real fast.
But when Zamora arrived on the scene, he didn't find an exploded shack. Instead, he saw something he couldn't fathom.
I stuck my head out the window, and I seen this white object. I didn't know what it was at that time. I thought it was a vehicle that turned over.
I saw something white cover of it, but I would say it was two because one was in front and the other was in the back.
Zamora's first instinct was to go to their aid.
I started out real fast so I could maybe help the people in the car. I got out the car and started towards it when I heard this big noise again, same noise, and the flame coming from under it. I got scared and started running back. I ran about 50 feet from it, pulled myself to the ground to hide. Afterwards, I didn't hear the noise no more. I just lifted up my head to see what was happening. And it was real quiet then, and I saw this white object just take off.
You know what I love about this story? He's giving details that are very pertinent, that don't fit that typical UFO sighting. It's egg-shaped, and these men or creatures in white coveralls, right? It's unlike any other case that I've really heard, and then the flame. So it's like, why, if you're to make up a story, you know, to get people to believe you, why wouldn't you just make up your typical, okay, here's my UFO encounter and leave it at that?
Especially when you consider that he immediately called in for backup.
The first time in 2007 or 2008, my kids and I were eating dinner, we're looking out the window and we're like, whoa, look at those orange lights. And there were 3, like a pyramid. And they just stayed in the same spot. This went on for a good 50 minutes, and then they just went out. They didn't like fly away, they didn't do anything. They literally were right there in the same spot, and then they just went out.
No movement whatsoever, just stationary in the sky.
Right.
The strange lights around Catalina plagued Kathleen for years, and she made it her mission to catch video proof of their presence.
So when did this happen, this video that you took?
The video I took was in 2012 from my living room. It was probably about 9 o'clock at night. I'm really looking out over the ocean.
Suddenly, the strange lights appeared to Kathleen once again. And she was filled with an overwhelming sense of shock.
What is this?
Why don't you show me your video?
If you watch, they all look rather roundish. Hold on, I'm recording this. I don't know what they are. And at one point, they pitch at the same time in the same direction, and they turn into almost like half circles. What is this? Almost like they were like this, and then they pitch.
Why are these USOs changing shape in formation? Are they preparing to dive?
So I went over to the left, keeping the telescope very steady, and tracked over. This is a house on the hillside.
Okay.
And then I tracked back to see where they were in relation to that house, and they were gone. Oh my gosh.
And they're completely gone.
Just like that.
Is it possible the UFOs were actually USOs that plunged into the ocean? Steve has captured video and stills of a dark triangular object hurtling across the sky, just like the craft Sean saw, and similar to the legendary Phoenix Lights.
All right.
Okay.
When did this happen?
This was just probably a month or 2 ago. This dark black object just tumbling across the sky.
Wow. What do you think this thing is?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I turned this into MUFON. It was deemed to be an unknown. And they could not identify what these things were.
But that isn't the only evidence of triangle UFOs that Steve has collected. This video appears to show low-flying orbs accompanying a triangle craft. Could they be some sort of surveillance craft deployed by the triangle?
And you had no sound?
No sound. And I'm just wondering if these were those kind of little scout units or crafts that are going and they're stopping right there.
But when Steve tracked the potential surveillance orbs that came from the triangle, something shocking occurred.
But I'm watching it, this thing come through the picture.
Wow, and it's equally as bright.
What was this streaking light that had accompanied the triangle? Perhaps a smaller drone descending to the planet.
Again, it's completely silent, right?
Yeah, it was completely silent.
Steve's videos make one thing clear. Black triangle UFOs are showing up with increasing regularity. If they're actually piloted by Arcturians with mind-controlling abilities, could they be planning an invasion?
This is what's going on in our world, and it's real.